Hey, I wanted to talk some more about artist block and moving on. Howdy, howdy, everyone. This is Clara Lawrence, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about artist block, more about the subject about moving on. So, excuse my studio, it's a little bit of a mess. I've got many projects in process right now, and I need to clean it up. So, just being normal, or my normal self, I should say. Anyway, so let's say you're going through something, and meaning something big enough that has created an artist block in you, and your go-to coping mechanism, which used to bring you an abundance of joy, now you're frozen. You can't move forward with it. It takes an awful lot for you to move forward with it. And then when you do work on it, even if you try over like months of successfully working on it, it's just not bringing you any joy. So the question becomes, do you continue with trying to move on with that particular project, or do you move on and try something else? So that question is only for you to decide what you want to do. So let me give you my story, and then you can figure out where I'm going with this. So my life used to be around quilting, and I pushed the envelope with quilting, or at least that I thought, and explored different artistic avenues with the quilting. Painting on fabric, doing dyes with fabric, all kinds of stuff, even painting with stitching and stuff like that. I love to do that kind of stuff because it felt like you were drawing on fabric with thread. And that used to get me so excited, and I got all into it. The threads I was picking out was kind of like having paints and a variety of colors, and the dyeing of the fabrics was so much fun. And it was like, again, painting with colors and stuff, but putting it onto the fabric. And then combining those worlds together was creating those pieces that used to get me super excited. Well, at this point with my artist block, because it had lasted so long, when I finally ended up getting there and doing the projects and able to get on them and finish a couple of projects, the end result in my heart wasn't singing like it used to sing. Now, granted, I was still going through a severe tragedy and stuff, but I needed that coping mechanism. I needed it to feel good. And through that time period, I started exploring, and that's why I discovered resin, because I worked on a table and I had to finish it. And I knew I had to figure out resin just because it was a new medium. I wasn't worried about it, so I'm like exploring everything in YouTube to figure it out. And then I found out you could add color to it, and it was like, what? And so it got my attention. And then I found myself getting excited about something else again. And it's like that got my attention again. The excitement, the energy. And so I decided at a point of going and exploring resin and playing with resin and learning that new medium, that in my head, I created a goal, or not just a goal, it was more of a thing to pay attention to. If I didn't get onto quilting in a year, maybe I should explore moving on and putting quilting behind me, meaning the investment of it, the exploration of it. So I didn't keep on beating myself up that I had all these supplies here. I had all this equipment here to do quilting, because I had, like anybody else, when you get into a hobby of some sort, you get like, bazillion fabrics or bazillion threads. And I had invested all that time and effort and supplies into that medium. Now, so a year passed by for me, and sure enough, I didn't do any quilting. So I made the decision to move forward. And I think it shocked my husband a bit. But I got rid of a big piece of equipment, a long arm, as well as I know I've talked to you guys about going through my fabrics and threads and stuff like that. So that, to me, it was a little scary at first, just a little bit scary. But when I decided to move on and jump into my next adventure, it was actually very freeing. And I was okay with it because I decided I would still have quilting in my life. I kept some of the fabrics, like my favorite fabrics, which are all the hand dyed and, things that look kind of like tie-dye and stuff like that. So, and some of my favorite threads. So I could continue making what I would call utility quilts for your friends, for your family members, for us, if we need them. But the artistic energy in me, I was going to explore that within resin, which was in another direction. So quilting became more of a practical thing, like cooking and, and taking care of your family. But the art was for me. So the resin art and alcohol inks, as you guys know, I'm doing both and intertwining both of them together. That's for me. So for me, moving on, I think was invaluable. I needed to say, hey, it's okay. You can let that go because you're really putting in your energy over here. And I have definitely put in my energy over with resin. So I think it was a good move, and explore it. It's not a bad thing to move past something that you're interested in into something else you're interested in, as long as there's something else that is conveying that energy that drives you, that passion, or something that lights you up. Because you don't want to put a Band-Aid on it, you want to heal. And part of the healing is lighting up the energy that's within you. That actually sounded pretty good. So, okay. So I'll leave you on that note. I'll end on a good note. And yeah. So find out what makes you smile, what makes you smile inside. And all right, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, but definitely hit the bell to get notified next time I put a video up. Later, y'all.